All right, this is going to be our April bell ringer. So this is how we're going to do the lettering. I have my paper so that if my ruler's on it, it is 11 inches long. What we're going to do is we have our ruler at the very top. There's a little mark here next to the 0. That's the mark that you line up with the edge of your paper. And you're going to go down 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3 of the bigger tick marks, or 12 of the small ones, and make a little mark right there next to it. That's 2 3/4. We move it to the other side of the paper and do the same thing. 1, 2, and then 3 of the tick marks, or if you count them, they're 12 of the small ones. I'm going to take my ruler. I know it's the correct way because when I look at it, it's only 8.5 inches long, and I'm going to make a line right there. That is our guideline for the April. Now, for spacing, what I do is I put my R right here in the center, and then I know that my I can go here, my L can go here, my P can go here, and my A can go here. This helps me space things out. So when I go over here, and I'm going to make my skeleton letters, it is an A, just pretty simple, a capital P, a capital R, a capital I, so I'm just going to draw a line and 2 small things on it, and then a capital L. This gives me my spacing. Now we're going to do bubble letters or balloon letters. So I'm going to start by doing a curve right there, and then a curve right here. I'm going to take my curve on this side here, and I am going to draw it up and bring it around to connect down here to this one. I am then going to draw a little smiley face right here so that it connects that part, and I'm going to erase my skeleton of my A. Then I'm going to make a opposite curve here so it looks kind of like a oval or a balloon. And then I'm going to go up here that way and that way to make myself a little triangle. I'm going to go over here to this side, and this is what we're going to make for the nozzle for the balloon. So I'm going to do a little oval, and then I'm going to do a little curve that comes out like that, and a little curve that comes out like that, and then I'm going to do a curve, slight curve right there. Then, to make it look like it's three-dimensional, I'm going to do a slight curve right there on the inside. So there is my balloon nozzle. Now, it's okay if your P is not behind yours. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to start my line for my P right here by going up, right up there. And then I'm going to come around right here. I want it to look nice and squishy, so I'm going to come over here and do a nice curve that comes up like that. I'm going to erase this, and I want it to be more squishy, so I'm actually going to go over here to this corner of the P, and I'm going to round that out. That way it looks more roundish. I'm going to go right here and do a curve like that, and then I'm going to do the opposite side over here. And then I'm going to have a little curve that goes in here, and then one down here. So it all looks like it's kind of squishing, like the balloon is really fat. I'm going to do my nozzle right up here at the top. Again, an oval, a line that goes back that way, a line that goes back that way, a curved line, and a curved line here. And then I'm going to curve it right there. My next one is going to be over here, the R. It's not going to touch my P, that's okay. It's kind of round, straight line like that. And then I'm going to curve right like that. I'm going to have this one curve just like that. I'm going to go up here to the top, and because I want it to be round like this, I know I didn't do that for the P, but we're going to do it this way. We're going to come around like that. I want my letters to kind of be squishy, so I'm going to bring this one up here and this one here. And then I'm going to bring this so it curves. So I'm going to actually change this from that straight line to a curved line. Sorry, I kind of messed up. I want it to be nice and squishy, so I make it just a curved line like that. I'm going to erase my skeleton. And down here is where I'm going, oh wait, I'm going to do this here to make my inside, just like I did with the P. I'm going to go here, and then here, backwards curves. Again, opposite curve down here, and opposite curve there. I'm going to do my nozzle right over here. So we're going to do an oval, little curve out, and a curve that connects them. Then I'm going to draw that curve right there to make it look like it's three-dimensional. If you're finding I'm going too fast, please go ahead and slow this down. All right, for my eye, I'm going to start off by doing a curve here, and then one on the exact opposite side, right there. I'm going to do a curve that goes around like that. So it's like an oval, but I'm just not connecting it. And I'm going to do that down here at the bottom too. If yours touches, that's fine. Mine kind of did there. That's all right. So I'm going to erase all this. And then I'm going to do a nozzle, let's say, right here. So I'm going to do an oval right there. Backward curve out. Backward curve out. Curve that connects. And then a curve to make it look three-dimensional. All right, last letter. We're going to start off with a nice big frown there. And then we're going to do a backward C here. What we're going to do is going to take this side of this, and it's going to come down and curve and connect. I'll have to adjust that a little bit. And I want it to be rounder over here. So I'm going to go back and round that out. Here we're going to go and bring this down. And this one we're going to bring down. Sometimes I have to go back in and adjust my lines a little bit. That's okay. Erase my skeleton. And then decide where I want my nozzle. So for this one, I'm going to put it right here. Right here on the back. So oval, curve out, and a curve there. Then a little curve there. That is how I do my lettering for April. Now we're going to be doing the measurements for April. We want to make sure that we know exactly what we're doing. All right, we are going to be, just a second here. All right, so here we are again. Sorry, I had to pause. We are going to be erasing our guidelines there. So we're going to actually create our spaces for our days. So here we are. It reads 8.5 across. You're going to make a mark at the 2, the 4, and the 6. We draw that ruler down. We're going to do that again. Oh, helps if I have it in the screen, right? There's a 2, a 4, and a 6. I use those two guidelines just like we did before to create our stuff. Don't do them too dark. I know that mine's darker. That's so you can actually see what's going on, because we're actually going to be erasing a couple things. All right. So there we are. Now we're going to rotate our paper. Again, we're making a mark at the 2, the 4, and the 6. Over here, again, the 2, the 4, and the 6. Just like I asked you to before, we're taking our ruler, lining up those guidelines, drawing lines across. This should give us 16 boxes. Now, all these boxes on the front are going to be for every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we're in class. But April, we're not here for all those days. So we're going to erase this line right here. And then we're going to erase this line right here. And that gives us 14 boxes. Our days are going to be 1, 2. The next row is 13, 14, 15, 16. There's so many days missing here because we have spring break. Hooray! Then we are at 20, 21, 22, and 23. We get to finish that month out with 27, 28, 29, and 30. But we're not done yet. Flip your paper over. These are the last couple marks. I have my paper wider than it is taller. And I'm just going to pick a line and draw it. And then I'm going to divide that bigger section into thirds. So, into half. Sorry. So this gives you 3 spaces. The dates for this are going to be 3, 17, and 24. These are the dates for the Fridays. We do something different on Fridays. That is how you do your April bell ringer. Sorry for my thing wiggling there. We have one more month if you missed it. Oh, I have oil pastels all over my table. Can you tell? So that's what we'll do next.